I sit at the edge of my parents' polished oak table, smoothing the wrinkles from my simple black dress. The fabric cost more than I should have spent, but tonight, I needed the armor of dignity. Around me, crystal glasses catch light from the chandelier as my father fills them with wine that probably cost what I spend on groceries for a week. To Sam's incredible win, Dad raises his glass, beaming at my sister. Youngest attorney in the firm's history to win a case of this magnitude. My mother reaches across the table to squeeze Sam's hand. We always knew you were destined for greatness. Sam glows under their attention, her perfectly highlighted hair falling just so as she modestly lowers her eyes. It was just good preparation, really. And natural talent, Mom adds quickly. Don't downplay your gifts. I take a small sip of water, gathering courage. The article I read about the case mentioned how you connected with the jury. That emotional intelligence is so valuable in... Did you tell them about the judge's comments? Dad interrupts, not even glancing my way. Samantha, tell them what he said afterward. My words evaporate like morning dew. I've been here a dozen times before this familiar ritual where Sam shines while I fade into the wallpaper. I focus on my breathing, on the weight of the fork in my hand, anything to ground myself as the conversation flows around me. Kylie, pass the potatoes, Mom says, the first time she's addressed me directly in 20 minutes. I comply, then venture another attempt. My department is implementing a new compliance system that I helped design. Did I mention Sam's firm is considering her for a junior partner? Mom cuts in, her voice lifting with pride. At 32, can you imagine? My throat tightens. I'm 29, 3 years younger than my brilliant sister, but somehow, I'm always decades behind in their eyes. Mom turns to me suddenly with that look, the one that precedes her helpful suggestions about my life. You know, if you'd finished that MBA instead of just your bachelor's, you might be further along by now. The MBA I postponed when they called sobbing about the foreclosure notice. The degree that's still sitting in the someday file while my savings account empties month after month. I'm doing fine, I manage. Mom sighs, exchanging glances with Dad. Fine isn't exceptional though, is it? She sets down her fork with precision. Honestly, Kylie, you're not even half the woman your sister is. The dining room goes silent. Even the antique clock on the mantel seems to pause its ticking. My hand trembles around my water glass, ripples forming on the surface. I can hear my heartbeat in my ears, feel heat crawling up my neck. The words slam into me like a physical blow, stealing my breath. The clock resumes its steady rhythm. Tick, tick, tick. In that moment, something shifts inside me. 4 years of silence, 4 years of sacrifice, 4 years of invisibility. Then let her pay the mortgage for this house, I say quietly. The words hang in the air like smoke. Dad's fork clatters against his plate. Mortgage? What mortgage? Sam's champagne glass freezes halfway to her lips, her expression suddenly uncertain. Mom's face drains of color so quickly I worry she might faint. Kylie, this is hardly dinner conversation. Who wants dessert? I made your favorite apple. No. The strength in my voice surprises even me. I pull my phone from my purse, fingers trembling as I open my banking app. What are you talking about? Dad blusters, his confident facade cracking slightly. We refinanced years ago. I scroll through my transaction history, finding the first payment from 4 years ago. I turn the screen toward them. February 15th, 2021. $2,500 to prevent foreclosure. Just this once, you said. Mom stands abruptly. This is ridiculous. I'm getting dessert. March, April, May. I continued, scrolling through the evidence. Every month for 4 years, between $1,200 and $2,400, depending on what crisis came up. Clyde. Dad's face hardens. We've had some temporary setbacks in the business. You know that. Temporary? 4 years isn't temporary. I turn to Sam, whose confusion is morphing into horror. Did you know that while you were buying your condo and getting promotions, I was keeping our parents from losing their house? Sam slowly shakes her head. They told me they were helping you financially, that you were struggling. A bitter laugh escapes me. Is that what they told you? A daughter supports her family, Mom says tearfully, returning without dessert. That's how we raised you. Family comes first, always. Family comes first, I repeat hollowly. But I'm not really family, am I? I'm an ATM. The backup plan, the safety net you never acknowledge. The realization washes over me with startling clarity. All those years of trying to measure up, of accepting less, of making myself smaller to fit into the box they'd built for me, and for what? So they could drain me dry while praising my sister for achievements that my sacrifice helped make possible? Sam sets down her glass carefully. How much, Kylie? Total? I meet her eyes directly. $84,000. Dad chokes on his wine. That's preposterous. But his protest lacks conviction. He knows. They all know now. My down payment for a home, I say, my voice steadier than I feel. My MBA, my future. The dining room falls silent again. But this time, the silence feels different. Heavy with truth, with secrets exposed to oxygen for the first time. And somewhere beneath the anger and hurt, I feel something else unfurling. Freedom. Back at my apartment that night, memories flash back as lightning. The phone rings at 11:37 on a Tuesday night. I nearly ignored it, already half asleep under my IKEA comforter in my rented one-bedroom, but something intuition or anxiety makes me reach for it. Kylie? Mom's voice breaks on my name, thick with tears. I didn't know who else to call. I sit up, suddenly wide awake. What's wrong? Is someone hurt? The house. A muffled sob. We're going to lose the house. We're going to lose the house. The next minutes blur as she explains through hiccuping breaths about missed mortgage payments, about Dad's struggling architectural firm, about the foreclosure notice that arrived today. Words like 30 days and auction steps punctuate her sobs. How much? I ask, already opening my laptop, navigating to my bank account. The screen glows harshly in my dark bedroom, illuminating the savings I've accumulated over 3 years of overtime and brown bag lunches. My down payment fund for a modest Denver condo, $2,500, she whispers, just to stop the foreclosure process. Charles swears the Brewster contract is coming through next month. She pauses. Honey, I wouldn't ask, but we have nowhere else to turn. My cursor hovers over the transfer button. The colonial-style house on Maple Street has been their home for 30 years. My childhood bedroom with the window seat. The oak tree I fell from at 8, breaking my arm. The dining room, where we gathered every Sunday for pot roast and potatoes. Just this once. Mom promises. Your father is mortified that I even called you. We'll pay you back the minute his commission clears. My finger clicks the mouse. $2,500 vanishes from my account, numbers shifting downward like an elevator in free fall. Thank you, sweetheart. Mom says, relief washing her voice clean of tears. We raised such a good girl. Dad gets on the phone briefly. Won't happen again, Kylie Bear. Just a tough month. His voice carries the forced heartiness I recognize from childhood. Disappointments, promised trips to the zoo canceled, Christmas bikes that never materialized. I stare at my account balance long after we hang up. The hollowness in my stomach has nothing to do with hunger. Just this once. 3 weeks later, Mom calls again. The bank made a mistake with the payment processing. Her voice carries a different note now, less desperate, more expectant. Just $1,200 this time. I transfer the money. A month passes. Your father's client is late paying, but the business will bounce back. Another transfer. By the 6th month, I've stopped waiting for the explanations to change. I've stopped expecting repayment. I set up an automatic transfer $1,500 monthly, directly to their mortgage company. It's easier than the phone calls, the tearful gratitude, the promises. My email notification pings on a Wednesday afternoon at work. Denver downtown condo development, pre-sale opportunity. I open it during my lunch break. Scrolling through images of the exact starter home I've been saving for walking distance to work, in my price range, available with just 10% down. I check my savings account. After 6 months of transfers, I'm back where I started 3 years ago. The condo units sell out in 48 hours. That night, I deferred my MBA program acceptance for the 2nd time. Financial circumstances. I write on the form. The university will hold my spot for 1 more year, they tell me. After that, I'll need to reapply. I created a spreadsheet. Columns for dates, amounts, running total. A separate tab for opportunities declined. Condo, education, the trip to Spain for my college roommate's wedding. My stomach clenches as the numbers grow. 6 months becomes a year. A year becomes 2. On my lunch break, I microwave ramen noodles in the office kitchen. My phone buzzes with an Instagram notification. Mom at Marcello's, the upscale Italian place downtown, captioned Anniversary Dinner. Blessed. Dad's new golf clubs lean against their dining room wall in the background of another photo the following week. Can't make it this weekend. I text my friends who are planning a short camping trip. Tight on cash this month, the third such excuse this summer. They stop asking eventually. The credit card application rejection arrives via email. Insufficient credit history and current income to debt ratio does not meet our requirements. The same day, Sam posts photos of her condo closing. Homeowner at last. Adulting. The comments overflow with family congratulations. Your sister always had such a good head on her shoulders. Mom tells me at Easter dinner, while I sit quietly, calculating how many more months of payments until I can restart my MBA fund. Financial independence is a sign of maturity. I nod, swallowing both the irony and the instant mashed potatoes. At the office holiday party, Jessica from accounting slides into the chair beside me. You okay? You've been brown bagging it for months. Her eyes, kind behind tortoiseshell glasses, hold genuine concern rather than pity. Just saving, I say, the lie automatic by now. She studies me over her glass of cheap Chardonnay. For what exactly? Because you never actually seem to buy anything. Something in her direct gaze breaks through my practiced deflections. Over after-work coffee that turns into dinner, the story spills out 4 years, $84,000, the endless cycle of obligation. Jessica sets down her mug with a decisive click against the table. Kylie, you can't set yourself on fire to keep others warm. They're my parents, I say, but the words lack conviction. And you're their daughter, not their bank. She pulls a napkin toward her, uncaps a pen. Let's do some math. We calculate the true cost. Not just dollars, but compound interest lost, career advancement delayed, retirement contributions missed. The final sum makes my hands shake. They wouldn't understand, I whisper. Maybe not, Jessica agrees. But do you understand what you're giving up? That night, I stare at my bank app, thumb hovering over the automatic transfer. 4 years. $84,000. My finger trembles, not yet ready to press cancel, but for the first time, I can imagine doing so. Just this once, I think. I could skip just this once. See if they notice. See if they care. I press my thumb against the cool glass of my phone screen and close my eyes. When I open them, the transfer confirmation stares back at me. 1 more month of setting myself on fire. But something has shifted. In the reflection of my darkened phone screen, I catch a glimpse of determination in my own eyes that wasn't there before. As I didn't sleep after this terrible dinner, the bank app glows on my phone screen at 5:48 a.m. on Monday morning. I haven't slept. My thumb hovers over the cancel automatic transfer button as sunlight begins to peek through my apartment blinds. For 4 years, I've transferred between $1,200 and $2,400 each month to my parents' account, money that should have built my future. $84,000. A down payment on a Denver condo when prices were reasonable. The MBA, I kept deferring. A retirement fund with years of compound interest. All sacrificed to pay a mortgage that wasn't mine, for a house I don't live in, owned by people who last night said I wasn't even half the woman my sister island. My finger trembles as I press the button. Are you sure you want to cancel this recurring transfer? Am I? I press confirm. My stomach lurches like I've jumped from a diving board, but instead of water, I'm falling into freedom. The sensation is so foreign, I nearly reach for the trash can beside my bed. But beneath the nausea, something else blooms, relief so profound my body sags against the headboard. For the first time in 4 years, my next paycheck belongs entirely to me. The first call comes before I've finished my morning coffee. Dad's name flashes on my screen. I let it go to voicemail. Kylie. His voice is granite and gravel. What you did last night was inexcusable. We've supported you your entire life, and this is how you repay us? By abandoning your family when we need you most? Call me back. Immediately. I delete the message and block his number. By noon, Mom has left 4 messages, each more tearful than the last. By 3 p.m., I've blocked her too. Sam texts, they say you're punishing them. What's happening? They won't stop calling me. I type back, ask them about the mortgage payments I've been making for 4 years. 3 dots appear, disappear, reappear. Finally, I'm so sorry. I had no idea. The doorbell rings at 6:14 p.m. Through the peephole, I see my mother clutching a photo album to her chest. I press my forehead against the door, willing her to leave. Kylie, honey, I know you're in there. Her voice carries through the wood. I brought pictures from when you were little. Remember how we were always there for you? Remember your first ballet recital when you fell and your father carried you off stage? What I remember is working 3 jobs in college while Sam's tuition was paid in full. What I remember is postponing grad school to help with their temporary financial setback that somehow lasted 4 years. I don't open the door. By morning, my aunt in Phoenix has called to express concern about your poor parents. My uncle in Michigan emails about family responsibility. Cousins I haven't spoken to in years suddenly need to check on me. The family mobilization is impressive in its coordination. They're good, Jessica says over coffee at the shop across from our office. She's the first friend I've confided in about the full situation. I've got to hand it to them, they've got the flying monkeys out in force. Flying monkeys? From Wizard of Oz. The Wicked Witch sends them to do her dirty work. She stirs her latte. It's a classic manipulation tactic. When the direct approach fails, enlist others to apply pressure. I've known Jessica for 3 years, but at this moment, she feels like the first person who's truly seen me. I made an appointment with a financial advisor. I told her. Tomorrow morning. She reaches across the table to squeeze my hand. I'm proud of you. The financial advisor's office smells like leather and lemon polish the next day. Martha adjusts her glasses as she reviews my statements. $84,000 over 4 years. She sets down her tablet. And they never disclosed this to your sister or acknowledged it publicly? No. And you had no legal obligation to pay their mortgage? No. Then what you've experienced is financial exploitation. She leans forward, voice firm. Family exploitation is still exploitation, Kylie. Hearing someone in authority name it sends a shiver down my spine. I've been exploited. Not helped, not supported, my family exploited. Let's make a personal budget, Martha says, one that prioritizes your future. When she shows me the projection of where I could be in 5 years without the drain of my parents' mortgage, tears spring to my eyes. College funds for future children. Retirement contributions that actually match my company's offering. A down payment fund that grows instead of depleting monthly. This is what financial health looks like, Martha says gently. The next morning, I opened my first investment account with the $1,400 I would have transferred to my parents. The act feels like planting a flag on distant territory. This money is mine. This future is mine. That afternoon, I enrolled in the graduate course I've deferred for 7 consecutive semesters. Welcome back, Miss Anderson, the admissions counselor says. We've held your spot. 3 weeks have passed. The calls from extended family taper off. Sam texts occasionally careful, neutral messages that skirt the edge of our family's new reality. My parents alternate between radio silence and escalating attempts at contact. I've rehearsed what I'll say when I finally speak to them. Jessica helps me craft the script, and I practice in front of my bathroom mirror. I love you, but your mortgage is not my responsibility. Simple, direct, unassailable. The knock comes on a Sunday evening, as I'm reviewing case studies for my first graduate class. No peephole check is necessary. I know who it is by the cadence of the knock, 3 sharp raps. My father's signature. I open the door to find both parents standing in the hallway. Mom's eyes are red-rimmed. Dad's jaw is set in the rigid line that always preceded childhood punishments. This has gone on long enough, he says, pushing past me into the apartment. You've made your point. My mother follows, her hand reaching for mine. I step back. Your behavior is destroying this family. Dad continues, pacing my small living room. Do you have any idea what people are saying? Your Aunt Margaret asked if you were having some kind of breakdown? Charles, Mom murmurs, a caution in her voice. No, Elaine, she needs to hear this. He turns to face me. You've embarrassed us. You've created a family crisis over a little financial help that any daughter would provide without question. $84,000 is not a little help, I say, my voice steadier than I feel. You're killing me with this betrayal, Mom whispers, tears spilling down her cheeks. After everything we've done for you. The rehearsed script evaporates. In its place rises something raw and real and entirely mine. I love you both, I say. But your mortgage is not my responsibility. It never was. My father's face flushes crimson. So that's it? You're just abandoning us? I'm not abandoning you. I'm stopping the abandonment of myself. The words hang in the air between us, undeniable in their truth. They leave 7 minutes later, my mother sobbing, my father rigid with fury. As the door closes behind them, my knees give way. I slide to the floor, tears streaming down my face, my body shaking with sobs that feel ripped from somewhere primal. But beneath the grief runs a current of something unexpected lightness. As if heavy stones have been lifted from my pockets after years of carrying their weight. That night, I slept 8 uninterrupted hours for the first time in 4 years. When morning comes, I stand at my window watching the sun illuminate the city. Denver spreads before me, familiar yet somehow new, a landscape of possibility rather than obligation. For the first time since that late-night call 4 years ago when my parents' desperation became my burden, I feel the contours of my own life taking shape. I am not half of anyone, I am whole. I wake up to sunlight streaming through curtains I actually chose. 6 months ago, I'd have been checking my bank app first thing, calculating how much I could spend on coffee after the automatic transfer to my parents' account cleared. Today, I stretch luxuriously and smile at the ceiling. My rules, my money. The promotion notification had appeared in my inbox yesterday afternoon. Project team lead. The words still don't feel real. Your dedication and analytical skills make you the perfect candidate, my boss had said, actually looking me in the eye. The whole department recognizes your contributions, Kylie. If they're ba and diddy. Recognition. The word settles in my chest like a warm stone. I pull on running shoes and head out for my morning jog, nodding to Mrs. Winters walking her corgi. She waves enthusiastically. Big day for your Italian cooking class, right? The final dinner. Lasagna from scratch, I called back. I'll bring you leftovers. 6 months ago, I wouldn't have known my neighbor's name, wouldn't have signed up for community center classes, wouldn't have had the money for ingredients beyond ramen and peanut butter. My phone buzzes in my pocket, Jessica from work. The hiking group's meeting at Boulder Creek Saturday, she says when I answer. You in? Absolutely, I reply, thinking of the new boots I bought myself last month. The Rockies have become my sanctuary, the vastness putting my family drama into perspective. Last weekend, I stood on a summit and screamed into the wind until my throat burned and something inside me loosened. When I return to my apartment, there's an envelope in my mailbox. Thick, official looking. I open it standing right there in the lobby, my heart hammering as I unfold the letter. Dear Miss Anderson, we are pleased to inform you of your acceptance. I press the letter to my chest, vision blurring. Graduate program. The one I deferred 4 years ago when that first desperate call came from my parents. My phone rings again. My Aunt Gloria this time. Your father asked me to call you, she begins, her voice apologetic. He says the doctor is worried about his blood pressure, the stress of possible foreclosure. The mortgage is current through next month, I interrupt, having checked their account status online. I'm sorry about his health concerns, but I can't help anymore. Aunt Gloria sighs. He mentioned there might be some misunderstanding about family obligations. No misunderstanding, I say firmly. I love you, Aunt Gloria. Tell Dad I wish him well. I hung up and checked Facebook. Mom's latest post appears at the top of my feed. Heartbroken, when children abandon parents who sacrificed everything for them. Family should be forever. 17 sympathetic comments from relatives who don't know the whole story. I close the app without responding and turn to my email. Sam has sent a tentative message. They're saying some worrying things about money. Are they really facing foreclosure? I'm confused about what's happening. I type back. They have options they're unwilling to consider. I'm happy to explain everything if you want to hear my side. Before I can overthink it, I send the email and head to the shower. Work awaits, and today I'm leading the morning briefing on our new compliance system, my system, the one I designed. The meeting room falls silent when I walk in. 6 months ago, I'd have assumed it was dismissal. Today, I recognize respect. The implementation numbers are impressive, says Thomas, our director. Kylie's design has reduced processing time by 32%. My colleagues applaud. Not polite golf claps, but genuine appreciation. I stand straighter and begin my presentation with confidence I'd never have recognized in myself before. That afternoon, my desk phone rings with an unfamiliar number. Kylie Anderson? This is Marissa Johnson, with Parker Executive Search. I'm calling about a director position in Seattle. I nearly dropped the phone. I'm sorry? Your name was recommended by someone who was very impressed with your compliance system design. The position is with Westlake Financial Technologies. Would you be interested in discussing it? My mouth goes dry. Seattle? 45% salary increase from your current position, plus equity. I scribble the number on a post-it, promise to call back, and sit stunned at my desk. Seattle. 3 states away from the magnetic pull of familial obligation. A director position leapfrogging 2 management levels. That evening, I opened my laptop and requested a virtual tour of apartments in Seattle. The realtor shows me a 14th floor unit, with floor-to-ceiling windows. The Space Needle gleams in the distance. What's the price range? I ask cautiously. She names a figure that, 6 months ago, would have been impossible. But now, with no mortgage payments draining my account, I pull up a spreadsheet and calculate quickly. 2 years of the offered Seattle salary would equal 4 years of what I'd paid toward my parents' mortgage. The phone rings. Sam. I talked to Dad, she says. He admitted everything. 4 years of you paying their mortgage while they told me you were struggling and they were helping you. Her voice breaks. They took advantage of you, Kylie. I'm so sorry I didn't see it. Something shifts inside me, the last piece of a puzzle clicking into place. It's not your fault. Are you really considering Seattle? She asks. Mom and Dad heard through the grapevine. They're furious you didn't tell them first. I laugh softly. Seattle feels right. I'm ready for something bigger than myself. That weekend, I began packing my Denver apartment. Each item goes through a simple test. Does this serve my future, or anchor me to the past? The pile for donation grows larger than the pile to keep. My phone pings with a text from the Seattle company. The contract is ready for electronic signature. Benefits begin on day 1. Relocation assistance included. I look around my half-packed apartment, at the graduate program acceptance letter on my fridge, at the hiking boots by the door. For the first time in my adult life, everything I own represents choices I made for myself. I signed the contract. A month after signing the contract, I stand at the panoramic window of my Seattle condo, watching dawn paint Mount Rainier in hues of amber and rose. 14 floors above the city, I've built a life where I matter, where my voice carries weight. My phone buzzes on the granite countertop. Another text from Mom about how they're managing without my support. I ignore it, sipping coffee that costs more than I would have allowed myself in Denver. Small luxuries no longer trigger guilt. The second buzz isn't from my parents. It's Grace, my former neighbor in Denver. Thought you should see this. Sorry. I tap the attachment. The image loads slowly, pixel by pixel, as if my phone is trying to protect me from what it contains. A vinyl banner stretches across my parents' Tudor-style facade. Bold red letters against white. Congratulations, Sam, for saving the family home. My coffee cup hits the hardwood with a crash. Hot liquid splashes my bare feet, but I barely register the burn. My lungs compress as if squeezed by invisible hands. 4 years, I whisper to the empty room. $84,000. I sink to the floor, ceramic shards pressing into my palms. Not from weakness this time. From rage so pure it requires anchoring to the physical world. They've erased me. Again. But worse, they've rewritten history entirely. When my breathing steadies, I retrieve my laptop and open my banking app. 4 years of statements. 4 years of transfer confirmations. Texts from Mom with variations of just this once and we'll pay you back soon. I find the email folder labeled family and extract every desperate plea. Dad's business failures, Mom's medical bills that insurance inexplicably rejected, the roof, the plumbing, the property taxes they forgot were due. The printer hums as I create a paper trail of their deception. While it works, I forward each piece of evidence to my personal email, then to a separate account I've created solely for this purpose. Digital receipts of years of manipulation. My phone rings. Sam's name flashes on the screen. Have you seen it? She asks without preamble. The banner? Yes. Kylie, I swear I had nothing to do with this. They told everyone at church that I've been making their mortgage payments since you abandoned them. I laugh, a hollow sound that bounces off the walls of my expensive condo. Of course they did. There's more, Sam continues, her voice dropping. They're hosting a family appreciation dinner next weekend, to honor my sacrifice. The formal invitation arrived in my email that afternoon. Cream-colored electronic stationery with flowing script. Join us in celebrating Samantha's selfless dedication to family values. Mom's voicemail follows. We hope you can set aside our differences to celebrate your sister. Family should support each other in times of recognition. Family should support each other in times of recognition. I trace my finger over the date. Next Saturday. I could book a flight. I should book a flight. I dial Jessica, my former coworker who first helped me see the patterns. They're crediting Sam with paying their mortgage. I tell her, my voice surprisingly steady. They're throwing her a party for something I did for 4 years. Jessica's silence speaks volumes before she responds. What are you going to do? I'm going to Denver. To confront them? No, I say, clicking open my laptop. To tell the truth. Saturday evening, I stand on the familiar porch. Inside, voices mingle with classical music. Dad's carefully curated playlist of impressiveness. I'm wearing a tailored charcoal suit that cost more than I would have spent on 3 months of clothes in my old life. Power armor. The folder under my arm contains every record, printed in duplicate. My laptop bag holds a flash drive with a presentation I've prepared with meticulous detail. Sam opens the door before I knock. You came, she whispers, eyes wide. Did you think I wouldn't? She steps aside, revealing the living room transformed for the occasion. Flowers I know they can't afford, catering from the expensive place downtown. A projector screen displaying a slideshow titled, The Anderson Family Legacy of Support. My mother spots me first, her champagne glass halts midway to her lips. Kylie, what a surprise. Her voice carries that artificial brightness reserved for uncomfortable public situations. We weren't sure if you'd make it, with your busy new life. Dad turns, his practiced smile faltering when he sees my expression. Pumpkin, come in, come in. We're just about to toast your sister's incredible generosity. The room falls quiet as I walk toward the projector. Aunts, uncles, cousins, church friends all watching as I set down my folder on the side table. May I add something to the presentation? I ask, my voice carrying across the silent room. Dad hesitates, then nods with the confidence of someone who believes they control the narrative. Of course. Our younger daughter wants to honor her sister too, how wonderful. I connect my laptop to the projector cable, replacing their slideshow with my own. The title slide appears. 48 months, $84,000, Kylie. What's this? Mom asks, her voice sharp. The truth. I answered simply. The first slide displays a spreadsheet. Dates, amounts, account numbers partially redacted. Transaction descriptions that tell their own story. Emergency transfer to parents. Mortgage payment. Property tax payment. Insurance premium. I don't think this is appropriate dinner conversation. Mom interjects, moving toward the projector. Neither is lying to your entire social circle. I counter, clicking to the next slide. Text messages appear, enlarged for everyone to see. Mom, Kylie, we're desperate. Just this once. The bank is threatening foreclosure. Mom, your father's business will recover soon. Just help us through this month. Mom, family comes first, always. We'd do the same for you. Murmurs ripple through the gathered guests. Aunt Martha's hand covers her mouth. Uncle Pete shifts uncomfortably in his seat. You're publicly humiliating us, Dad hisses, his face flushed crimson. I meet his gaze steadily. If the truth embarrasses you, that is not my fault. The next slide contrasts Dad's business expense reports with their credit card statements, golf club memberships, weekend getaways. Restaurant bills exceeding what I spent on groceries in a month. Stop this immediately, Mom demands, her voice cracking. But I continue, slide by slide, building the case that I've subsidized their lifestyle while they showcased Sam as the successful daughter and dismissed my contributions. Sam stands frozen, horror dawning on her face as she comprehends the scale of deception, not just against me, but against her too, used as their golden child while I was used as their ATM. When the final slide appears, the banner photo with the truth superimposed across it, the room has fallen into stunned silence. $84,000. I say quietly. My down payment, my MBA, my future. Aunt Judith, Dad's eldest sister, rises slowly from her seat by the fireplace. For a moment, I think she'll defend them, she always has. Instead, she begins to applaud. Slow, deliberate claps that echo in the silence. It's about time someone told the truth in this family, she says, her voice carrying the weight of decades. Two of my cousins nod, recognition in their eyes. The family patterns aren't new, just finally exposed. Mom attempts one last deflection. Family matters should stay private, Kylie. This is inappropriate. Private like the banner on your house? I ask. Sam moves then, crossing the room to stand beside me. She doesn't speak, doesn't need to. Her presence next to me says everything. For the first time in our lives, we face our parents as a united front, the golden child and the invisible one, standing together in truth. And in that moment, I feel the last chains of obligation finally break free. 6 months after the confrontation, the Seattle morning light streams through floor-to-ceiling windows, illuminating my face as I stir honey into my tea. Sam sits across from me at the corner cafe, her lawyer posture relaxed for once, hair pulled back in a simple ponytail instead of her usual perfect blowout. I still can't believe they showed up here with papers to add your name to the deed, Sam says, shaking her head. After everything. I smile, watching ferry boats cross Elliott Bay. Their version of an apology, I suppose. And you turned it down. Not a question, but a statement of respect. I already own my own home. I tell her, gesturing toward the gleaming high-rise visible from our window. What I need is respect, not a name on paper. 6 months since the truth shattered our family's foundation. 6 months of rebuilding not what was, but something new. Something honest. My phone buzzes with an industry newsletter notification. Anderson Team wins Innovation Award for Compliance Solution. My team, my leadership. Sam notices my smile. Another win? I show her the screen. Vice President sounds good before my name, doesn't it? Better than mortgage payer in secret. She reaches across the table, squeezes my hand. You're speaking at that finance conference next month, right? Ethical leadership panel. I laugh at the irony. Apparently standing up to financial exploitation qualifies me as an expert. Later that evening, I lace up hiking boots as 3 friends wait by the door. No elaborate excuses about tight budgets. No calculating whether I can afford gas. Just 4 women heading to Mount Rainier because the wildflowers are blooming. Rachel asked about you again, Tina says as we drive, wiggling her eyebrows suggestively. The architect? Heat crawls up my neck that has nothing to do with embarrassment and everything to do with possibility. Dating without financial anxiety feels like breathing new air. On Tuesday, I stood before 20 young women at the community center's financial literacy workshop. Boundaries aren't selfish. I tell them, my voice steady with conviction earned through fire. They're the foundation of authentic relationships. A girl in the back row asks, but what if it's family? Especially then, I answered, meeting her eyes directly. When Sam returns in August, we cook pasta in my kitchen, tomato sauce bubbling as Frank Sinatra plays. Mom would have hovered, critiquing our technique. Tonight, there's only laughter as Sam spills wine on my countertop. Remember when Mom would measure the pasta portions? Sam asks, twirling noodles onto her fork. 2 ounces for you, 3 for Dad, 1 for me because actresses need to stay slim. And now look at us. I gesture to our heaping plates, rebels with carbs. We talk late into the night, about childhood patterns we never questioned, about adult choices we're now making differently. I've been thinking about taking a real vacation, Sam says, not a networking opportunity disguised as relaxation, just joy. Where would you go? I ask. She corrects. Where would we go? Sisters only. My throat tightens unexpectedly. A year later, I opened a new account, seed money for my niece's education. Not from obligation, but from choice. At the community center, my financial boundaries workshop has doubled in size. Setting limits isn't about rejecting others, I explain. It's about honoring yourself enough to bring your whole, healthy self to relationships. In my journal, I write, Year 1 of my authentic life at the top of a fresh page. Below it, not accomplishments or goals, but truths. That worth isn't measured in sacrifice. That love without respect is just used. That starting over at 30 isn't failure, it's courage. Evening finds me on my balcony, watching sunset paint the Olympic mountains gold, then purple, then blue. No phone buzzing with financial emergencies. No mental calculations of what remains in my account. Just this moment. Just me. Finally home in my own life.